Hey guys, what's up? This is going to be a video all about Hodor. A lot of you have asked for a video explaining what's going on with his character the last time we saw him. It was very ambiguous, so just careful for spoilers for everything that's happened through Season 6 so far. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that we're going to see him again, and there's a number of different ways the show could accomplish that based on Bran's abilities and a couple key scenes that I'll explain. So there is a new round of the Game of Thrones giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's for one of the enhanced editions of the books. There are two big ways the show could bring him back. One is a white, which would be just absolutely horrifying, and two, in another Bran flashback. So let's start with the really cool one first, Hodor as a white. So a lot of you have asked what happened to Hodor after he held the door for Bran and Mira so that they could escape. So there are a couple key scenes that sort of explain what's going on and why he might come back as a white. I know White Walker is slightly different. He might come back as a White Walker pending Benjen's explanation, which is another key scene when he explains how he was slowly being turned into another White Walker himself. So at the end of episode 5, we get the explainer for his name. That's the big reveal. Hold the door. Bran had simultaneously skin shifted into Hodor and was controlling him to hold the door while he was also, in the past, watching what was happening at Winterfell. He doesn't fully understand how his magic works yet, so it creates this crazy feedback loop that short-circuits some of the language centers of Hodor's brain. The way they presented Hodor in the early seasons is that he's simple-minded, but you learn that he does understand everyone. It's just the speech centers of his brain that have been affected. So in this moment, he sort of gets subconsciously stuck on this future moment. He probably never fully understood what was going on till he was in that moment himself. But the other big revelation that we've gotten in the last season is that the others, or the White Walkers, however you want to call them, they're only called White Walkers on the TV show. In the books, they're called others. They have an intelligence of their own. They're not just mindless drones. The Night King is probably the most powerful person on the planet next to Bran right now. So he wants to swell his ranks, but typically dead people are raised as whites, not as White Walkers. So they're really fuzzy on the rules for how you create a White Walker, but we do know that only the Night King can create new White Walkers. The White Walkers themselves can raise whites one at a time, but the Night King can raise them all at once, so very different power levels, but a lot of it just depends on what their plan is for any given person. So the reason that the Night King probably wanted to turn Benjen into another White Walker is because of his skills and his knowledge. So once you become a White Walker, you're basically a thrall of the Night King. You do have like your own intelligence and your own agency, but you're bound to him. So whoever you were before just completely disappears. Had Benjen been fully turned, he would have killed Bran and Mira on the spot.
Uncle Benjen. The last letter John wrote me said you'd been lost beyond the wall.
I led a ranging party deep into the north to find White Walkers. They found us. A White Walker stabbed me in the gut with a sword of ice. Left me there to die, to churn. His children found me. Stopped the Walkers' magic from taking hold.
How?
The same way they made the Walkers in the first place. You saw it yourself.
Dragon glass. A shard of dragon glass plunged into your heart.
But what about Hodor? It would be a crazy WTF to see him come back in a crowd shot as a White Walker or as a white, but which one would just depend on whether or not you believe that he died in that moment, whether he was ripped to shreds or not, because they can animate whites that are basically just skeletons. This Ray Harryhausen looking white here is almost full skeleton from the end of season 4. So odds are pretty good that Hodor is not dead in the truest sense of the word, and when people asked George R. R. Martin about it, because Dan and Dave got this Hodor twist from him, he said, have you seen a body? Maybe Hodor's not dead. He's very ambiguous about stuff like that, so you're just left to wonder. So if there is a chance that he's alive, he's probably still alive, but not in the way that you would expect. Because while Benjen had the Children of the Forest to save him from being turned into a White Walker, Hodor does not have that. He has an army of whites that are trying to get through that door. They weren't really clear about it either, but the actor who plays Bran was mostly responding to the Hodor twist, like, nice one, Bran. You set this all in motion, killed the three-eyed raven, and got Hodor killed too. But the even bigger implication is that the Children of the Forest have died off now, that those were like the final surviving members of their race.
What are you doing? Go!
Now, part of the reason I think they're being so ambiguous is because they want Bran to be on his own. He says to Benjen, I don't understand my powers. I didn't get the full explainer from the three-eyed raven before he uploaded all of his knowledge into my mind, which is basically what was happening. He was unlocking some of Bran's abilities, but at the same time, uploading all this knowledge that he had accumulated. So if you want to believe that Hodor is coming back as a white, or even a White Walker, although I think it'd be more likely that he would be a white, he would have to be some moment that they would save for the Bran character, just because it'd be more meaningful that way. Him seeing twisted Hodor and being confronted with his failure. So there are a number of reasons why you could argue that they will not bring Hodor back as a white. So typically the big twists on the TV show have some deeper meaning to the story, like the big twist about White Walkers being the creation of the Children of the Forest when they were fighting the First Men in their big war for Westeros. Their whole line of logic is that they were losing and then they needed a weapon of mass destruction to stop the First Men from completely destroying their race, but in doing so they lost control of their own creation and now they threaten everyone. So it's a big WTF twist, but it makes sense from a narrative perspective. You create the thing that will eventually destroy you. So whoever you're fighting the war against isn't your greatest enemy. You are your own greatest enemy, or your failings, or your hubris, or your weaknesses. It's the same thing with Cersei. Cersei's greatest enemy isn't the Faith of the Seven, or wasn't the Faith of the Seven because she took care of them at the end of the season. It's really herself. She will do something that will lead to her own downfall in the way that the Children of the Forest did. So I'm less likely to back some big WTF twist theory unless it's in service of wrapping up a really awesome plotline, like the idea that Arya would cross Cersei's name off her list while at the same time fulfilling the prophecy of the Valonqar by wearing Jaime's face. That's like a crazy WTF twist theory, but it helps sew up a lot of the logic in the books, whether or not the TV show decides to go that route. So let me know, do you think that Hodor is going to come back as a white in a future season, whether it's in the books or on the TV show? It's totally possible. If you just go based on the logic of what they presented so far, he would have to be a white, but it just depends on what types of scenes they want to do with White Walkers in Season 7. But in related news, I know a lot of you are asking about a video ranking the characters based on their magic abilities, so I'll be doing a video for that this week, but feel free to leave other suggestions for Game of Thrones videos you guys want me to do on the channel. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here for my Arya Stark Valonqar video, and you can click here to learn how Marvel is getting ready for a really big reboot in the next couple of years. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight. Bye.